Okay, in this tutorial, we're going to be troubleshooting the calendar availability because sometimes you set up your calendar and you've set your available slots, but when you go to double check the calendar, for some reason, those slots do not appear as available. And so usually this is a simple technical setup error and it's really, really easy to troubleshoot. So let's go through the things that we need to look at to make sure those slots are actually going to be available. So the first thing we need to do is go to calendars. And then we're going to go to calendar settings firstly and see the calendar that we want to double check here. So I'm just going to go and edit this and see the current settings and how it is set up, because we had a question basically, hey, I've set up my availability, but the available slots are not displaying. So let's see what we can find. So at the moment, the first thing I want to double check is that there is a team member on the calendar. So that is great. That is a tick. So that's good. So that's one thing that you need to check. Then let's go to availability. This is probably going to be where most setup errors occur. So let's take a look. So we have a couple of slots here. There's not too many. So one thing that you want to check a little bit later is, have you accidentally booked anything in these slots available? Because if you've integrated with a Gmail calendar or Outlook or whatever, then just double check that you haven't booked anything over these slots, because it will read those events on your associated calendar and it will not show them as available. But I'm assuming that this calendar has nothing in those places. So why are these available slots not displaying for this person then? Let's take a look. So if we come down here, we might find an error down here, and this is what I'm looking at. The date range says it's only going to display available times 4 days in advance. Okay, so this question was asked to me on a Saturday, right? So it's actually this 4 days here includes the day you're on. So it would have been Saturday 1, Sunday 2, Monday 3, Tuesday 4. So if this person was trying to then open up the calendar, they would have seen no days available, no slots available, because it was 4 days in advance and it's only showing up to Tuesday when they were checking and setting it up on a Saturday. So when they were looking at Saturday, they were finding like, oh no, there's no available slots. But actually, if they simply switched it to 5 days, they would have seen the Wednesday slot available. If they'd switched it to 6 days, they would have seen both days available. Okay, so to prove that, and that's my reasoning to think that this is probably the not the error exactly, but this is just why those slots were not showing up, because it's only a date range of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 basically means that it's going to stop showing anything after Tuesday. Today is actually a Sunday. So what I'm expecting to see today is that we will see slots available on Wednesday. If I open up this calendar, it will not display the slots on the Thursday because we are still on a 4-day date range. So being that today is a Sunday, I'm going to see nothing here, nothing here, nothing here, and I should see 4 p.m. till 5 p.m. on a Wednesday, or at least a 1 hour slot, or 1 hour availability on a Wednesday. So let's test that hypothesis in a moment, but let's just go and double check anything else. So let's see, minimum scheduling notice 2 days. Probably want to put that on 1 day, by the way, ideally, so that it improves the show up rate the quicker that people book in. So just a bit of a tip there. Let's move forward here. This is all okay, and this is all okay. So that is what I believe to be the reason. Obviously customized the primary color here to be pink. That's cool. But that is about all I can see. So let's close this calendar down. I haven't changed anything. All I've done is taken a look to see what the settings actually are. So the my theory is that because we're only displaying 4 days in advance and this question was asked on a Saturday, then it wasn't showing any dates available. But because today is a Sunday, it will actually show the Wednesday slot. So let's take a look. So let's open up this calendar. Okay, so as we can see here, we do indeed have the Wednesday slot available here. So we've got, today is a Sunday, as you can see. There's this little pink dot here. 1, 2, 3, 4 days in advance, we can then book that Wednesday slot. And obviously we've got Monday. We've got 1 hour availability, and obviously this is the geolocation here. So although the time on Wednesday in the settings was something like 4 p.m., obviously my time zone is a bit different. Okay, so don't worry about that either. Let's also just move forward and just double check some other things that we can take a look at. So other things that you might want to take a look at, because the calendar has a person attached, in this case, we want to double check that this person has availability set to the person as well. So if we go to my staff, for example, we want to make sure that the availability set down here is also similar, or at least includes what the calendar has. And in this case, it does. So that's great. So that is all correct. And the other thing is to double check that any Google or calendar integrations are not conflicting with the calendar. So you can do that from 2 places. Firstly, you integrate the calendars in integrations, and then you can check for conflicts under, again, in this team area here under the staff. So let's take a look. Calendar configuration down here. And it is checking for conflicts, so that's good. So for example, you might want to double check, like if you're seeing some slots that you think should be available but are not, you might want to double check your associated calendars to see if you've accidentally booked over the slots that you wanted available, because of course this is now checking your Google Calendar, and if there's something in the way, then it will just simply not display those slots as available. But in this case, it looks okay. There's no conflicts. The actual issue was the fact that it was a 4-day scheduling notice. People can only schedule 4 days in advance, and she was setting this up on a Saturday, and the next nearest day was a Wednesday, which is 5 days. So it simply wasn't displaying. So that's kind of all we need to check. To reiterate, we just went into the calendars settings. We double checked everything. We made sure that there was a person attached to the calendar. We made sure that person also had similar or more availability. We made sure that there was some availability, but we also made sure to see that how many days in advance could people actually book, because sometimes it may show nothing if you have certain days switched off, right? Because in this case, we have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday are switched off. So we're not going to see any slots on these ones. But obviously, depending on the day you're on, let's say you're looking at the calendar on a Friday, and it's only displaying 4 days ahead, then it's going to show Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, so you're going to see 0 slots available. So probably for a setting like this where your availability is quite slim, you might want to just do a 7-day range like this, and that way people can always see something on the calendar like that. Okay, so no matter when they check it, whether it's a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Friday, or Saturday, they're always at least going to see something available that they can book themselves in for. Okay, so that's it to troubleshoot your calendars. Pretty simple. The other thing was double check any conflicts on any associated calendars that you're synchronized with. But that is basically how we just troubleshoot and double check our calendar availability and why some slots may not be showing up even when we think they should be.